Batman Catwoman issue 2. So we're at a future Stateville, and we're
Yep.
into other things here. So Tom King and Clayman here for this issue. And I think I really like what some of what this book's playing with some of its
Mm-hmm.
ideas. First of all, I'll say that all the scenes in this of Phantasm hunting down like Joker's like henchmen, like the one on the train, especially in the subway,
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeously like
Yeah.
creepy. Loved it.
Definitely. I'll agree there. I
Yes.
think the art too. The art is
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
yeah. When Clayman does show up, it really looks great. Because we've talked about some of the stuff in the series that we don't like to name anymore, or even in when he did the double date with
Mhm.
Clark and Lois, and some of it would look just kind of like he just, I don't want to say copy and pasted, but they were definitely repeat stuff. Here though, like that's not an issue. Like
Oh yeah.
every
And
every page just brings it.
and that second
So,
page of Phantasm, the full page spread with the blade,
yeah,
like that's like putting a frame and putting your wall worthy.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's this next level. But you have Catwoman in present day going to see Joker about
yep,
what's going on with Phantasm, and not wanting Bruce to find out her part in this backstory.
yeah. So the overarching story in this one is that one by one, Phantasm's going and killing people that have worked with Joker, and it's even like it gets to one of the henchmen that really was never at crime scenes, but did like the setup. So like someone has to load the acid into the flower for him to spray, or set up the traps, and that guy gets whacked by Phantasm. And then you start to find out that this lion necklace that was stolen, and with the Joker, Selena might have had something to do with that in working with the Joker. So now that might put her on the hit list. That's what I got from this
And
story.
the book ends with in the present day part of the story with Selena lying to Batman because he straight up asked, "Did you have anything to do with this? Were you there when Joker did this thing?" And she says no.
Well,
I will say, Joe, what's grown on me though since the first issue is the future stuff with old Selena and old Joker in the house. I actually really loved almost every scene they had in this issue with that.
Yep. Well, because it went from being something like, why is she going talking to this old man? Then you realize it's the Joker, and then here there's no doubts because just the way that he's very Joker-fied in this, and he goes to go get her a water and pulls a gun out of the freezer.
Yeah, because she once says there's almost like a slapstick comedy like build up of how like they're going to try and kill each other.
He comes out, guns blazing, and she's behind him because she's still Selena. She's still the greatest cat thief ever. And there's allusions to the Joker brings up, before your first wedding, you had me in the church, which made me automatically think of Connor.
Because that cross.
He's like, you cut because you cut my throat, but you didn't really intend for me to die. You left it just enough that I could survive, and that was foolish on your part. And then by the end, she goes straight for it, and it looks like she ends the Joker right then and there.
Well, I don't want to gloss over that. So there's a great panel where he's coming out the kitchen door with the gun, and he's looking through the crack in the door, and it's a really creepy sort of almost a Shining-esque kind of "here's Johnny" thing. And he comes out, but when he goes to aim the gun, Selena's already behind him because she's learned from Batman, I guess. That's a great full page spread because he takes a shot. He comes out and you see the bullet holes hit the
five.
It's the back of the couch that he's hitting at the bottom of that page, and then the following full page spread is her standing behind him. She's already waiting for him, but in the foreground, the feathers of the couch from the gunshots are like going through the air.
Around.
It's beautiful stuff. Like the art, it's really elevating everything here. Which is not to diminish that I do think Tom King's telling some interesting stuff here, but I definitely like this issue more than issue one. I think all of the different elements were clicking a bit better and paying off a bit more.
Yeah, when you think about like first and second issues, where the first has to have like that hook to get you involved, and then the second is when the story really starts coming along. And here, that's where now we have the Phantasm, and we know is Joker's responsible for killing her son, and that now she's getting revenge, and it's being told over different time frames, right? So we're getting all of that, and yeah, this is when I feel like Tom King books work the best, is when he's kind of playing with this idea. And from right here, I feel like the idea in this one was trust, because even Joker even goes and sets off the bat signal, right, to talk with Batman and Catwoman, and Batman's like, the angle of it's off. That's not the police. So they go to it, and that's where they talk about stuff. So
yeah, and Joker surrenders, which leads to like the confrontation with Batman and Catwoman, where he's like, hey, I don't want this to be based on lies.
Right.
She's like, asked me, were you there with the Joker? And she says no. And it's like, oh no, we know she's lying, and to some extent. So the issue ends after that. In the future part where she takes out her hand and uses her nails, literally claws his throat, and it looks like she's killed him. In the last panel is the Joker lying in a pool of blood in his old age, and she's looking down at him. So yeah, I mean, if old Joker is dead, it makes me wonder what more of this future story will be, if there is any more of the future stuff. It feels like there should be. It feels like it's going to constantly be past, present, and future.
The fact that Bruce is gone, but Selina's still around, and whatever happens with the Phantasm, I feel like the Phantasm's still coming for her, because I feel like the Phantasm is that it represents almost that guilt.
Do you think we're going to get old? I mean, assuming Phantasm doesn't like die in present day story, but
well, that's what I mean. Is maybe it's not Phantasm exactly. It's a version of Phantasm that's Selina. It's Selina's own guilt for all of this, because if she's lying about what happened with Joker to Bruce, what else is there in her past, right?
Yeah, well, that was one of the most interesting things about the first issue, was Selina's attitude towards Phantasm and the real woman whose name I'm forgetting.
Andrea,
thank you. But like, her attitude towards her was very surprising. It was very sympathetic. It was very, part of the reason why she was there to see Joker was because of her and on her behalf, and not.
Right.
So it wasn't like this jealous, like, oh, you had a thing with Bruce kind of thing.
Right.
So I'm still interested in that. I'm interested to see how her guilt plays out and the trust between them. And she even brings up in this issue, she's like, yeah, Bruce on his deathbed asked me to be a good person, which, and we know that means no killing. Like, his one rule is no killing, but she has to go kill the Joker. She has to.
The Joker, right.
Yeah.
Because he's never paid for whatever, Bruce isn't here anymore. And I'll take that up with them later. That's the vibe that I got from her.
So
yeah, that was real good though. This is the King that I enjoy. So it's really, and it's a quick read. After some of the reads this week, the fact that I got through this so quick, felt very nice.
Flows very well. Yeah, it doesn't overstuff the pages with dialogue for sure. One of the little touches I like is the old man Joker has got like a shirt, he's got like blue shorts on, and he's got like this red. No, it's not a Hawaiian shirt; it's just striped. But I do think there's kind of an intentional callback to the Killing Joke here, where he tries to shoot Selina, but then gets sidetracked from behind and killed instead. I do think it's kind of interesting that his old man persona, his disguise, is very similar to his Killing Joke outfit that he wears when he comes to shoot Barbara. I think there's kind of a symmetry there that's very intentional.
Yeah, definitely.
So I like that.
Oh yeah, and she comes at him in her own home, much like Joker did for Gordon.
Yeah. So some nice symmetry there that feels just. But there's some gorgeous pages. Joker standing against the bat signal's gorgeous. We mentioned him coming out, with the gun and getting snuck up upon. All that stuff in the subway, where you see Phantasm. So you're looking through the window in the subway door, and the Phantasm's coming down from the other car.
Yep.
Beautiful stuff. And the guy's streaming against. It's like a horror movie. It's a straight up horror movie.
It is. It's the Phantasm's like the shape. It's not a matter of if, but when.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm digging it. I'm on board. So, what are you giving this one, Matt?
I'm going to give this an 8.5.
Yeah, I'm so tempted to go with that one nudge higher, but I think I'll agree with 8.5. But it's getting there. Like, I think Rorschach wowed me right away. This one, had some good stuff in the first issue, but wasn't a complete home run yet. I think it's getting there now.
I think with me, the fact that we're so, I don't want to say bogged down, but we're so immersed in Future State.
Yeah.
That something that's taking place in more familiar times feels nice.
Yeah.
So the fact that I got through that, and then I got this, which is just a story, and sure, it takes place in the future, but it's not Future State. It's different.
Yeah.
It's It's more familiar that it's comforting like a hug.
Yeah, I mean, I think as much as Future State has some exciting elements and some stuff that's not good, I think we're going to be happy when it's done and we're back to like regular DC books.
And that's it with when they do all other gimmicky things. Not that Future State's just a gimmick, but like once Villains Month was over or whatever, I was happy to get back into what we were doing.
I genuinely think, obviously next week's our first week of books again for Future State. I do genuinely think that February will feel much nicer because we'll know which ones to skip.
Yeah.
You know, we won't be as bogged down in numbers.
We won't feel as much of a chore with some of the books because we'll have got rid of those already.
Yeah.